What's up, guys? Sci-Fi Guy 2094 here. I just got back from James Gunn's Superman Legacy, whatever you want to call it. Let's talk about this film. So, I gotta say, I really liked this film. Obviously, this is the start of James Gunn's DC universe. So, obviously, they're gonna skip any origin story for Superman because Superman's been around since 1939. Everybody knows Superman's origin story by now. We don't get any of that, which is great, because it would have been a waste of time. This movie's in 2 hours and 10 minutes, okay? So, story and plot overall is good. Some people think, they thought it was going to be too political. Yes, there's politics, but it's geopolitics. It's not like senseless stuff. Basically, there's this question about whether metahumans should be operating autonomously with no oversight. So they've been relatively just kind of operating in certain cities or different locations around the globe, but not too much international stuff. But ever since Superman came on the scene, he's been Superman for 3 years. He's the most powerful metahuman of them all, and he can basically just go anywhere across the globe in a matter of seconds. So early on, he prevents this one nation from invading another nation, and then that brings about the whole argument about, well, should metahumans be able to do these things, and they're not acting on behalf of any sovereign government or any agency. So they address that. That is the politics. That's basically the extent of the politics in this film. Nothing crazy. It's not, no one is going after a certain political group. So yeah, it's kept pretty normal for the most part. We have Lex Luthor as the villain, obviously a classic Superman villain. To put simply, Lex Luthor is being Lex Luthor in this film. In this film, he actually orchestrates a war between two nations simply because he wants to turn the public against Superman, and he wants to kill him. He wanted permission to kill Superman from these governments around the world. To put simply, that's what Lex's plan was. Obviously, Lex's plan is foiled through the help of Jimmy Olsen, Jimmy's girlfriend, who is working for Lex Luthor, and Lois Lane. They find out basically that Luthor was in cahoots with this nation to basically start this war. So he gets arrested at the end of the film. So, without giving, that is definitely spoiler. But overall, I thought the action was good. I really liked Mr. Terrific in this film, and Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. I was worried they'd be taking up too much screen time and we wouldn't see enough Superman, but that wasn't the case. So overall, I think it was good. His relationship with Lois Lane was great, I think. I thought Ma and Pa Kent were decent, but I thought Ma Kent was kind of weird. Like, I feel like they tried to give her like a weird hillbilly southern accent, even though they're supposed to be from Kansas. So I thought that was kind of weird overall, though I don't have too many issues with his parents in this film. I really liked how they showed Lex Luthor's genius. Basically, he said he created a way, he recreated the Big Bang, and he has this pocket dimension where he's, anybody who's opposed him, whether they're like ex-girlfriends or metahumans or politicians, basically he's keeping them in this pocket dimension. So yeah, it shows you how ruthless this guy is. We see Metamorpho, which is basically, they give a quick little synopsis of his powers. Basically, he is able to take kryptonite and metamorphosize this into a weapon that can be used to keep Superman in this prison. But I like the story there because, Metamorpho has this son, and, he just wants to see his son. That's it. And that's what convinced him to help Superman, because he's like, "You said you can save my son." And Superman's like, "Yeah." So he's able to actually take a little hydrogen, helium. He's able to create some type of reaction. It produces yellow sunlight, so Superman has his strength back, because in this pocket dimension, there's no sun. I really like this movie. The story and plot overall is pretty good. The only thing I kind of would have liked better is Ultraman. I would have liked to see Ultraman have like a little bit more personality, because he's basically a clone. In this movie, he's just a straight up clone of Superman, and he's being controlled by Lex. He's got all these algorithms that he's been watching Superman for 3 years, so he knows all these moves that Superman is going to make. And then he has these drones, and basically they feed the information to Ultraman, who's basically like a mindless slave. So I kind of wish Ultraman had been a little bit more of an actual person, instead of just like some mind slave to be controlled by Lex Luthor. So what I would have liked to see is, okay, so Ultraman is seeing how the world reacts to Superman, and the people that, whether they hate him or love him, they react to him. And there is a sense of, well, are people afraid of him? Do people admire him? But either way, he has an impact on the world at large, So I feel like Ultraman, he could have seen that, and he could have decided, wait, there's people like worshiping this guy, like he's some type of god. And he could say, well, that could be me. I could be better than Superman. I could be Superman. So I felt like they should have had him become a little bit more conscious of his power after seeing how people praise Superman, and then he could have even like maybe tried to turn against Lex, and maybe try to go out on his own and just like be the hero himself, or seemingly become a villain, as he is basically in JLA Earth 2, which, Ultraman is like the leader. So yeah, I kind of would have liked to see some Ultraman actually having dialogue, and realizing just how powerful he is, and turning against Lex, and then becoming like a complete badass, and putting on like the classic Ultraman suit. I thought that would have been so cool, like if Lex had a suit made up for him for like a certain occasion, or whatever the case may be. He could have, donned the Ultraman suit, the classic one, which is, the blue suit with the red cape. That would have been so awesome. But overall, this movie was good. I was apprehensive because I wasn't sure, with this being the first film in this new DC universe, I wasn't sure how this was going to play out, if I was going to like it or not. If it was going to be too comedic, because James Gunn loves his comedy. But overall, it wasn't too bad. I felt like the comedy was appropriate most of the time. So, go see Superman. It is a solid film. I give it 2 thumbs up. I give it a solid 8 out of 10.